Hi everyone, Karen Roby, Veronica Combs here for Tech Republic, talking today about developers specifically. And we talk about developers, Veronica, a lot, write a lot of articles about job postings and skills that they need and all of that kind of stuff. But I think some of the findings that you've been talking about this week on Tech Republic might actually surprise some people. Start with remote work and what we're finding here.
So Mendix is a Siemens company, and they have a low-code development platform. So low-code is basically the idea that you don't have to have a degree to write software. If you're a business person and you want something done, you can at least start this idea and kind of scope it out in this platform. And low-code is a way to bring more people into software development and maybe take some of the simple stuff off the developers to-do list and let business people take on that stuff. So anyway, Mendix did this survey and they looked at where the drought was, the developer drought. So where is there a high demand for software developers but a low supply? And in the traditional tech hubs like San Francisco or New York, there's somewhat equal supply and demand. But in some of the more rural areas like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or Mississippi, or even some counties in New Jersey, there's lots of jobs but not very many developers. And so they looked at about 2,000 job postings on the three major job sites in July to understand, what are people hiring for, what are they looking for. And they found that 92% of the jobs still required you to show up at a certain location. So everyone's talking about, remote work, we're all remote now. We're going to be remote work. We're going to have distributed teams. But that really hasn't caught up to the HR department posting jobs, because they're still saying you have to show up at this office in this city, which they were surprised that, even 6 months into this work from home revolution, we're still requiring people to show up at a specific place at a specific city.
Yeah, I think that would definitely come as a big surprise. And not to mention, this is a job that truly, depending on the platform, can be done from home, really from anywhere. So you'd think that right now, here at the end of August, after everything we've been through, that it would be, doesn't matter where you are, and you can be a developer for this company.
Right. And that's one of their, what Mendix says is a strong point of low code platforms, in that, the business person could be in Tulsa and the developer could be in Chicago, and you could collaborate on this platform and kind of work through this idea together. One problem with development projects is there's a lot of rework. So a business person would say, well, I want this service to do X, and the developer would build something. Then the business person says, oh, well, now that I see it, I really wanted Y. And so there's a lot of rework that goes on. So if you do have a tighter collaboration between the business people wanting certain things and the developers building it, then you can reduce some of that wasted time and effort and rework. So, and that's even more important if you are, in fact, working in distributed teams, which I assume at some point we will be.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think, again, something that would probably surprise some, it surprised me, with results of a different study that you write about too, in terms of how people are feeling, how developers, their level of happiness since the pandemic started, as obviously it's been a strain on so many of us. Again, kind of surprising results here.
Yes, Harness surveyed 500 developers in the States and found actually that 52% of them were happier now than before the pandemic started, which, we're all stressed out and lots of us are juggling kids at home and spouses at home, or spouses who lost their job, or reduction in hours. But I think this survey found that people maybe appreciate their employers a little bit more. They appreciate some of the outreach and support that companies have provided in the light of this pandemic and all of the extra stress on all of us. And so, yeah, they found that 51% were happier than before. Another point from the finding was that millennials were actually the most likely to say that they're happier now than before. Only 30% of the boomers that they surveyed felt that way, but the millennials, were up there saying, yeah, we feel good and about our jobs. And they were also happy with their job training. When you're a developer, there's always something new to learn, some new language, some new way of doing things. And so I think that's been a challenge for companies to figure out, what does an effective training program look like. But at least when they talked to these 500 developers, they felt that they were doing pretty good in that space as well. So people liked professional development stipends, so a little extra money to spend on maybe a training class or something online, mentorships, hackathons, and even lunch and learn sessions were pretty popular in terms of helping developers understand the latest technology out there in the market and figure out how to work it into their own job.
Very interesting. Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting when we do finally move past this pandemic. And fingers crossed it's sooner rather than later to do a study over everyone just to see the level of how people are feeling, and interesting to see millennials maybe staying more optimistic through this. So again, when it comes to developers, though, we have so much on Tech Republic for all you guys out there that want to learn more about the job market and skills and different studies related to it. So we hope you'll check all that out, and Veronica's articles there on Tech Republic. And we appreciate you watching today.